introduce city manager. Turn it over to you.
Okay, we're running out of programs, so we decided we would ask the city manager to come back. Let's see if he can do a better job this time than he did last time. I think when he left, we had more questions.
Nice things about him, I take those back from you.
Actually, though, he's the best city manager Gilmer has right now.
It's just happening there.
It's really nice to be on the city council. You can pretty much say anything you want to. Anyway, I'm going to give him a shot here for 35 minutes to tell us about what's going on in the city. Just tell us the good stuff. All right? Okay. Greg Hutson, let's
Make
go.
it 15-20.
15 to 20? First of all, I was just telling Alana here, she didn't know he was a chemical engineer. She said he's a lot smarter than he looks. Before I start, I want to ask, does anybody know what that is a picture of, a city? It's in the U.S. Pete? I would say I had a prize, but I really don't. If I had a prize, it'd be that lady's money she just won. Exactly. It is mine. Was that because I said it at council one time?
I don't. You said it, I don't remember anything you said.
Yeah, we went there, and if you've never been there, that's a very interesting city. I've never seen so many, it has nothing on Dallas, and I've never seen so many rich cars driving by. It was like, you know, it's like a Ford or something here. There, I never saw so many Maseratis and Rolls Royce and everything. It was an experience. But anyway, that's not what I came here to tell you about or talk to you about. So as most everyone is aware, we have a parks project going on, and I'm here to give you an update, but I'll give you a little preliminary information. This is where the parks project money comes from. We haven't spent any of it yet. Do I need this? Yeah. Okay. But I want to draw your attention right here. 900,000. We got the 150,000 for Abney Park, and it's a spend reimburse type grant. The same thing with Jamboree Park. The application, we've reapplied for it, and we've been told that our chances of getting it this time are extremely good. Last year, they funded all the way 11 projects, and we were number 15. So we were close, but they didn't have enough money, and they only fund until they run out of money. And so we're expecting to get it this year, which would be, I say this year, it'd be next year. The application had to be in by August the 1st. It was in, and they'll let us know in a March to April timeframe if we get it. And keeping my fingers crossed, but we're expecting, like I said, to get it. So that's that 900,000. But even with the 900, and this is before inflation, by the way, as we know it today. This is how much we still needed to raise, $309,000. And that's assuming that these costs are pretty close to home, so to speak. If we have to cut anything, which I'm expecting that, we do not plan on cutting from Abney Park or Jamboree Park. If we're going to cut anywhere, it's going to be Roosevelt Park. And we'll look at those plans here in a second. This is Roosevelt Park. For sure, we're going to get rid of the dead end asphalt street that's there now. We'll get rid of that. And then you see the walking trail kind of system. I think, and that has a price tag of, if we did everything at Roosevelt, I think it's like $430,000. So we have room to cut, and it will be from there. I honestly, to me, this is just my own personal feelings, not anybody else's. I see it being more of a garden type park where you can walk and see the flowers and stuff like that. That, we had to cut back, then it becomes, we could do that at a cheaper cost than the other stuff we're looking at doing. You see a basketball court here, playground here. And so, but we'll see. We'll see what plays out. Where are we at right now in the process? The surveys had to be done for Abney Park and for Yamboree Park. Those two parks are what we applied for Texas Parks and Wildlife grants. Well, we turned the surveys in and they have to be approved by Parks and Wildlife, TPWD. And so we're waiting on them to approve those before we do anything. That's why you don't see anything at Abney Park yet. Let's see, what else here? I want to show you something on, you know, when you start a project and you tear into it and you find out there's something there that you weren't expecting. On Yamboree Park, let me see. I've actually got it on the PowerPoint. So this is Gilmer Rotary. Let's see. Well, you've got a copy there. One thing I wanted to point to your attention, right here it says the existing overhead power line. Well, SWEPCO gave me a call. Actually, they called me probably about a year ago. And they were talking about this power line. They were going to be doing a lot of work to it, you know, maybe moving it. I said, well, you know, we got a Parks Master Plan. No. So I sent them this picture and said, look, we got an issue here. Fortunately, Stan Hayes, our city engineer, had already talked to him and said, if you move it, the only place you can move it to, on that drawing, you'll see this little red line comes towards 271 and then it runs parallel to 271 and over. That's where we're okay with because it doesn't interfere with the majority of this project. If it does come over the soccer field there, it's not a problem to move those soccer fields around. So right now, it has to go here. No, he has no choice because that's going to be pretty much where the new ballpark is going to be. Well, just right on the edge of it, and here's the outfields. So I don't know what that's going to turn out to be, but at a Parks Board meeting, somebody made a comment about taking it to the PUC. You do that, it's going to be a long time for you to build it because we'll throw everything at it. So as far as I know right now, the plan is it's still going to be moved here. Can we do it at the same time we're doing this? Probably, but Stan today just got back from a week-long trip for elk hunting in Colorado. So I got a call in because one of the baseball associations asked about, can this be going on while baseball and softball season's here? That's yet to be determined. I think it can, but we haven't planned that out yet until we figure out where SWEPCO's at on this and when do they plan on doing it. I think it was like for them, it was like a month or two long project. They could pretty much get in there and do it and get out. But there's still moving parts on the construction. We can do things at Yamboree Park right now, like begin to strategically remove trees over there, probably on that out there. That's what this is. And we can strategically begin moving the trees and it won't affect the application. We can't do anything with the soccer fields and the ballparks because that's what we applied for. We can't touch those. But we can touch the other areas that are not part of that application. So, having said that, you'll see, like I said, you'll see dirt moving at Abney Park. And we can do Roosevelt anytime, but we just decided we'll just wait till the surveys are done before we do Abney, because we'll probably begin doing Abney in conjunction with Roosevelt Park. And I don't know why I'm parking right there when I say Roosevelt. Let's see, I'm gonna go to Abney now. This was the plan originally for Abney, but that's changed now. And it's changed because, as Brandon can attest to, that there were community meetings in that area of town about what can we do with the park and everything to make it, better for that community. One of the things you'll probably see is the renaming of that park. It won't be Avenue anymore. And I don't know what the name of the lady is, but we'll probably rename it after that lady that's been there 70-something years. I think it's a great idea. And we've updated the plans based upon their input. And so this is it's black and white, but it's a pretty simple basketball court, play yard, some horseshoe pits. The reason we did horseshoe pits for, like there's a butterfly garden over here, Jim, you see, why are we doing that? That gives us more points on the Texas Parks and Wildlife application. The more they see, the higher we go up in the list as far as the number of points. So that's why we did it. But when you put it on there, you better have it. So you'll see that. But if nobody's using it, why did they put it was for? You updated based upon their input, more like a lot more. This was the basketball court that we were playing, but now it's the playground. Just right over here. See if you can, well, I don't have it. Basketball court moved over here. You see proposed horseshoe pits up here, even a washer, proposed throwing washers and all that. You got picnic tables over here. These are existing right here. And I think we're going to move them over here. There's these we call exercise stations. So if somebody's walking around, you can, the exercise stations I'm thinking of are for people like me. So I'm 63. Of course, most people know on the weekends I go to Arlington. Where my wife and I go to church, across it is the park. So we were walking around there one day, and they've got this pavilion, and it's cool, and it's for 55 and older. It's not weights, but it's all this machine that exercises your joints, your knees, and all that other stuff. Fortunately, I don't have any problems with those yet. I know Pete does, but he's a lot older. So anyway, those are the kind of stations you'll see, because half of the population, at least when I came here 6 years ago, half the population was 55 and older. So we really need to have something that 55 and older people can do at our parks. That's one of those things, or these exercise things. And I'm sure Miriam's going to be the very first one to try.
Yes, she'll be the first one.
You know, exercise is
But
not good.
anyway, let's see. And as most of you know, in June of 2018 is when the council adopted the Parks Master Plan. And anyway, that was that. And by the way, on this Parks Master Plan, all that was done by the input we received from the community. I'm just going to tell you, I was a little disappointed that a lot more people didn't participate in the input on that master plan. Maybe we didn't do a good job of putting it out there. It's on our website. We sent it to the chamber and everything. But I think we had 12 people show up at that meeting. And so I was a little surprised. The associations were part of, they knew about it and everything. But maybe we didn't do a good job of communicating it to the people in this community. On a side note, something I've been thinking about is to alter the water bill so that you get an $8.5 statement, and it shows your water usage and your bill and stuff like that. But if we do that, stuff it in an envelope, we can now stuff a letter into that envelope, like city news or something. Everybody will get it. Now, it's up to them whether they throw it in the trash or not, but we've done what we can, and that's on my list of things to do. That will help us communicate better with the community and citizens. People don't go to our website all the time to look. They don't even go to Facebook all the time to look. So we can't just rely on social media. We got to do it the old-fashioned way. That way you know people are getting it. So it's just a thought we had, and it's really driven by that survey that was didn't get a hold. I think we got 12 people came to the meeting, but I think maybe we got 60 people who filled out the survey. I would wager most of those were baseball, softball, and soccer. So anyway, that's pretty much everything I've got to say, unless you've got some questions. Now it's Q&A.
On the Academy Park, didn't we change that to have 2 basketball courts?
Yeah, we did, and this was, and Stan's aware of that, and I don't know if we included
not on that particular one.
Existing, it's this one. I think we're gonna make a change to the existing, but I'm not 100% sure. This would be like a half, for the younger people, this is for the older adults playing and all that. And then we've got what he did move, the playground was up there, and he moved it over here, so it's between these two things here.
Is there any expectation on when Parks and Wildlife will approve the surveys?
No, I'll stand this week and find out. I mean, we're kind of at their mercy, so to speak, their schedule and everything. So I don't have an answer on that.
You might have already said this, and I apologize if you did. Do we have a new projected start date on Abbey Street Park?
It all depends on Parks and Wildlife. We can't do anything until they approve that survey. You know, all of Abbey Park has been applied for, so we can't do anything there.
And like I say, and I know you had answered that part of it, but I just wondered if there was any indication from them about, what that timeline looked like.
I could say any day now, but it might be a month from now, who knows?
Okay.
But we did the survey of Abbey first, and I believe it had been submitted to Parks and Wildlife, let me see, back in the first part of August, so it's been at least a month that they've had it. So if I said, it could be any day now, but again, who knows?
Fair enough.
So.
I'm relatively new to Gilmer. I know where the Jamboree parks are, but these other two parks you're talking about, I have no idea where are those located here in Gilmer.
So if you go south on Bradford Street, where the high school's at, you just go across 154 there, go all the way down, take a left on, I think it's Kaufman, you'll run into Abbey Street. It's right there. That's where that one's at. And Roosevelt Park is by the railroad tracks, it's by the Tectonic Law Firm.
Oh, okay.
So it's on the south side of the Tectonic Law Firm.
So
Yes.
pickleball is a big thing right now. Has anybody
Yeah,
not requested a pickleball court?
Yeah. Leave it to you to come up with pickleball. Yes, it has become a big thing, especially in the Metroplex, where, I'm trying to think, South Lake is getting in on it, with Colleyville and another city there, and it's a big thing. They actually have pickleball tournaments and everything, so it's not something we wouldn't shun or anything, because the more people, the whole deal is get more people coming here to Gilmer. But we can get tournaments in pickleball or soccer or even shuffleboard or whatever. Yeah, we're going to definitely look at it. Now, there's been some discussion about the skate park, and there are people here in the community that are very interested in the skate park. And if we have one, it would go if we had one. The discussion in the past is that it would go somewhere over here, which is on the south side of Roosevelt Park where the old swimming pool used to be at. But that's assuming we had money left over to do it. So we're just leaving it at that. We don't have a clue as to how much money this is going to cost and how much money, if any, we're going to have left over. That is a variable that, I'm just going to tell you, that is a variable that depends on the donations coming in. So those quad ballparks, the softball park and the baseball park is $1 million each, easy, $1 million. That was before the inflation. And I'll use an example. We're getting ready, and we have a lot of stuff going on at the airport. One of the things that on the west side of the runway, we need a fence there. And when I came here 6 years ago, there was money being spent to acquire land around a called a runway protection zone. And they said you should have enough money, probably $200, $250 to build a fence 6 years ago. Then when I went out there with Textile Aviation about 8 months ago, it's like, no, you can spend it, you're going to be spending at least $600,000 now. Because people, the supply chain problems, the metal fencing, so who knows? So, and these quad parks will have, more than likely, I'm thinking those really, really tall fences on them, and it's going to be, like I said, when I say $1 million, that's easy. So that's the big unknown, and that will be the variable that constrains, what we do with parks. Again, I'm hoping that if we cut back with Roosevelt, that hit gives us enough money for Jamboree, what we need to do. I'm not talking the quad parks, I'm talking about all the other stuff. We'll do those quad parks with the money we have. But if we get the $750,000 from Parks and Wildlife, that helps us go a long way towards that. But it's gonna come from Roosevelt, for sure. And I don't want to, it is what it is, Which park do y'all want to? I think it's Avenue, and for me, I'm hearing it's Gilmer and Avenue. Those are the top ones. And maybe Roosevelt, again, becomes a walking garden park or something. Anything else? Yes, sir.
I live out on 49 just a little bit, and when I get off 154 and 49, there's an old shopping center, all over the thing there.
The Gilmer Plaza.
Built a new fence around that thing. Can you tell us what's going to go in there or something?
There is a guy named William Ozinga, and that is going to become an RV/storage park area. That's what that's for. And he put that fence up, and I've had a meeting with him, and so I'm hoping he's brand new parking lot going to be in there. At least that's what I've been told. But it's kind of funny. Before we had that barrier with all the trees and brush, and people complain, man, when are y'all going to do something about that? He comes in and does something about it, and I was like, man, we didn't want to see that building because it was hidden before. So that's the plan. It's going to be storage, both RV and storage. I'm just going to throw something out there because I get calls about RVs being parked in driveways on the street. So now we can say, there's an RV place over here you can take it to. Or I'm going to have to bring to council revised ordinance. So anyway, little side stuff there. And I just want to mention, I think you're going to see a lot of stuff going on at the airport. I'm working on a proposal, but anything that we do out there is done with airport monies. It's not done with taxpayer money. People who use that airport, I've always thought, people who use whatever service the city offers ought to be the ones who pay for it. You do that with water. Airport, same way. Doesn't mean we won't loan the airport some money to be paid back to the city, but we're at a crossroads at that airport, and what we do as a city will determine a lot of how much stuff goes out there. And so anyway, so we've got a lot of projects working. Our roads that are getting ready to be, whenever the guy from Henderson, the business from Henderson can get here, Coke Street from Warren Street to 154, repaved. We had to take down some trees because they were tearing up the pavement. And then we're Buffalo Street, Buffalo from the railroad tracks to Montgomery Street. And we think there'll be money left over to do Jefferson from 271 to South Street. So that's the next street for the phase that we're going to be doing. But I hadn't forgotten. Do y'all know, anybody know what a PID is? Public Improvement District? You know what it is? Yeah, because you were looking at it. You and I were looking at it years ago. That's something you might see here. Just so you know what a PID is, it's a group of property owners who are willing to pay what's called an assessment. It's not a tax. Legally, it's called an assessment above and beyond the property tax. But all the money that's collected above that property tax to whatever they determine goes towards that community where the PID is at. We're looking at it and talking about it for the Patterson edition. I'd like to include the Mitchell edition in that as well. But if we, just so you know, if the property owners of the Patterson edition gave it a thumbs up and it had to go before a vote, then we could take care of all their roads almost within a month. And then as the years come, it will be paying back that debt. So it's just something we're looking at. I got a lot of stuff on my plate, so. Since I've been here, we've done a lot here. And it's because we have a really, really, really good council that's good to work with, easy to work with. Pete has been the exception every now and then, but he tries. Well, I'm done, yes.
Is there anything on the books for the Crawford edition of the drainage right there?
Is there anything on the books for the Crawford edition? No.
Since they put that gas station in there, is that gonna affect the drainage more? Is it a-
No, they're putting in a storm drainage system so that it goes into the, from what I understand, the textile drainage system. And by the way, when 271 floods, as long as you got one lane of traffic, TxDOT won't do a thing. They'll say you got one lane of traffic to go around. So we're kind of stuck with TxDOT. Their easement is right on both sides, obviously, of 271. And so, again, I'll talk to Stan when he gets back about that, because as I drive by, I'm thinking the same thing, is the drainage going to be okay? And so I need to talk to Stan, but we think it's going to be. Okay? Hey, and we're going to do you, I need to talk to you after here, but football field.
Thank you, Dave, very much for being here today.